Hello, this is Roy Mitchell from HYBLA Today with cameraman Ken outside of Wildwood Gallery in downtown Minute, just up from the Highlands hot tubs. And you'll find the Wildwood Gallery nestled among the beautiful downtown operations and businesses. So I'm really excited to talk to Joey. He and his partner, Barry Segrist, started this Wildwood Gallery a few years ago, heart of the city. We have so much to talk about. We're going to talk about theater and art and politics and anal sex. So, shall we enter? Joey Shulman.
Hi, Roy. How are you?
Well, here we are.
Hi, Ken.
HYBLA Today is so happy to be here. Now, Joey, I've told the people how I'm in love with you because you're so cool. And one of the reasons, I'm only going to talk about two things. A, you are in a small but significant role in Black Christmas, one of the first Canadian films that I even knew existed and was good. In my house, I grew up with Turn It, it's Canadian. So when I found out this film, which I've never seen because it's a horror film, was actually Canadian, filmed in
Toronto.
yeah, but where is it? The Amesley Hall, right across from the ROM, where I stayed when my grade 8 class came to Toronto. So I love this film, even though I'll never see it, and knowing I live in a place where one of the actors in it is alive and well and doing in Maynooth, that is exciting. So that's the one thing. Okay, the other thing is you lived in Toronto as well, and you carry with you something very less and less people can say, and then a few people can.
Well, I was found in bathhouse raids in 1981.
Okay, the bathhouse raids of 1981. A lot of people, quick, what was it?
Well, the Toronto Police Force enacted the largest civic arrest in the history of Canada and arrested 317 men who were doing nothing illegal in private clubs and
Having sex.
not necessarily. Not everyone.
Playing cards.
Not everyone was that lucky.
Having sex. You don't go to the bathroom just to work out. You know somebody who does that.
I was actually doing business, and I was not a sex trade worker. I was conducting business on behalf of my
Even
client.
if you were, whatever. They came in and they smashed doors, they ruined people's lives, and that was how many years ago?
1981.
1981. But that erupted into activism, right? You got involved.
Yes, and it started a movement that I think put AIDS in a very good place for activism, and breast cancer and other marginalized groups as well.
All right. Can I take a moment? Joey, a moment. To all the gay men out there that look like me, maybe not in a high-power, pressure job like social media, newscasting, those guys, and guys that have to deal with them. You know, this is where it kind of started for us, and we got radical, and people burned cars and did a lot of shit. Let's get radical. So you guys just lay off. And when you say things, oh my God, the police should be a pride, remember they were pissing on our parades before we even had parades. So that is what I'm saying. And if you love me, love me. And if you like me, like me. And if you're angry, get angry. Share this video. But anyway, that was my little thing. So go on. I think things are great. Let's fix that culture called policing and make it better. And it's not getting any better for a lot of people. So anyway, Joey, let's talk about art. Because I find art really helps me calm down. What is this piece here, Joey?
This is a piece by a former guest of ours when Barry and I ran Wildwood Guest House for 19 years. It's called Joe. It's the former drummer from the band The Clash, Joe Strummer.
Oh.
And the artist is Karen Lappins, and we're very fortunate to have 3 or 4 of her pieces. She unfortunately passed away very early from cancer.
And at this gallery, you represent local artists, correct?
We do. We're very proud and pleased with the artists that we do represent.
A few names?
Rocky Green, who's just around the corner.
We'll get over there. Other names?
Henry Gibson, Arnie Roosman. There's quite a few actually.
There's pottery by
Amy Dool.
All right.
One of our top sellers.
Stained glass work.
Margot Merritt.
Okay. Let's go around the corner and check out one of the featured artists in your gallery.
And of course, Ren Lonechild.
Ren Lonechild over there.
Who sells faster than we can even get the paintings into the gallery.
Great.
So here we have 2 pieces by Rocky Green from his trip to New Orleans.
All right, Rocky. Shout out to Rocky. Shout out to Renee. Okay, and then over here behind me?
We have works by Henry Gordon and her series of Animal Spirits. Huge seller last summer.
Beautiful.
And we'll be doing a new show for her in the spring as well.
All right. And I would be amiss if I didn't tell you that I wanted you to talk about this piece. I love this piece, and it's so good, and it's important for a lot of reasons. Do you want to tell us about this piece, Joey?
I sure do. It's one of the first pieces of art I ever bought as a young person at the early gay pride that was held at Queen's Park before Pride even really, it was just a gay pride day. The artist is Kelvin Piercy. He's still with us. It was done in 1982. He lived in City Park.
Which you could see St. Charles Tower at that time.
Yes, so that's the Coroner's Building.
Uh-huh.
And that's the St. Charles Tavern.
And you wouldn't have this view now. Like this
No.
guy sat in his apartment and drew and drew and drew, probably on acid, right?
I believe he was on LSD.
Right.
And, the other thing too is that that's the old Howard Johnson's, the former Westbury Hotel.
Right.
And this is an earlier work by him, and you can see how he, as an artist, really liked the little detail,
Right. And the St. Charles Tavern is a real location for gay politics. Do you want to tell us why?
Sure, it was one of the earliest bars for me as a young gay man in Toronto. A number of my friends met their murderer there, famous for that. People who got out of prison, people who got off boats, who were in the Navy, would find their way to the St. Charles. It was known all over the world as a destination. It was an original fire hall in Toronto, but it had 2 floors. It was fascinating. It was divided so lesbians were on one side and gay men were on the other, and you really didn't go, you know, back and forth.
Ladies and escorts even?
No.
Whoa.
Discouraged. And then upstairs was the Maygay, this incredible Art Deco dance hall that held 1,000 people.
Wow, the Maygay.
So that's all long shuttered up.
And drag queens?
Drag queens would come in at the back door because people would mob Yonge Street, and we're talking the early 60s, would mob Yonge Street for the Halloween balls that would take place at the St. Charles Tavern and at the King Edward Hotel across the street from Letro's restaurant.
And throw eggs.
Throw eggs. I remember one drag queen telling me her defense was to put razor blades in her wig so that when someone grabbed her wig, they would cut their hands.
And they still do it to this day. Watch out for drag queens with big hair. All right. Now, amazing, and it's so good. And, you know, HYBLA Today's on a fixed income. Can't afford to buy it. But to know somebody out there like a gay couple interested in architecture, queer history, you know, and also, okay, and anybody else, because this is an amazing collectible piece.
Well, and also they could buy it for you as a present.
Okay, sweetheart.
So we're not going to crowdsource on this one, but
it
definitely you have 4,000 viewers. You know, if only 10 of them.
All right, stop it. But
you want it so bad.
Another thing about this guy, he did mazes for.
Yes, I was very pleased to represent him very early in my career as a publicist by having a show of his work at the Macmillan Theatre foyer, Edward Johnson Building, University of Toronto campus. And as a result of that, I was able to sell his mazes, which were all Art Deco, New York City skylines, phenomenally complex, to En Route magazine, Air Canada's in-flight magazine, and particularly for the transatlantic flights.
Somebody's going to Europe and they're opening it up and there's this maze, they're doing a maze.
They
video games.
At Gatwick or Heathrow with the maze done, and they bought 6 of them, and then they bought another 6 at a higher price. They were so popular.
And they come with the deal. It's part of the deal. It's so collectible. All right. I'm almost exhausted from talking about art. Let's talk about theater.
Sure.
Joey, let's sit over here. Yes.
Comfy seats.
Joey, you're no stranger to theater. You know theater like most gay men know cooking. So anyway, Joey, you've done cabaret, you've done To Have and Have Not, and Virginia Woolf, and all those other plays. The one about
Godspell, Sound of Music, Fiddler on the Roof.
Hit me, baby. You're giving me a boner. All right, now, okay.
That's coming
one that's coming up. What is it?
Jacques Brel is alive and well and living in Maynooth.
You're changing the title?
I'm changing the title. I've put it in brackets so not to offend the copyright holder. But the original title, a show I worked on in Toronto at the Baby Playhouse Theatre in 1969, Jacques Brel is alive and well and living in Paris. He was already dead at the time that show opened.
Okay.
So I'm reviving him in Maynooth in that record.
Why? Like, what do you have with this Jacques Brel French guy?
Once you hear some of the songs, you'll understand.
Oh, right. He's responsible for writing Ne quitte pas and Frère Jacques.
Not Frère Jacques.
Famous French song.
Close, but Dusty Springfield famously sang If You Go Away, which was
On a summer day.
Yes, that song is Jacques Brel.
Uh-huh.
But he sings about love, love lost, love longed for, death, madness, post-traumatic stress disorder, and we're talking 55 years ago when it didn't even have a name.
But you actually had to make some changes, right? Because it is a bit...
There are lines that would give offense now, and while we're still going to give offense because they're strong lyrics, it's still no longer, it's not acceptable to perpetuate certain beliefs, and so yes.
Racist, gender.
Yes, there's a line referring to a Chinaman, and so that's been changed to a wise old man, and there was a line about you'll want to beat her black and blue, and that's been removed, and there was another line as well about having a harem of young girls, and that's been removed as well.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
We're not trying
Make
to
it real.
We're not trying to be politically correct as much as
What's wrong with that?
Relevant.
Yeah, the same thing. Okay, now, I think, so tickets.
Available in 2 locations, conveniently, at Harvest Moon in Bancroft and at the Maynooth General Store. The matinees are selling the quickest, the 2 o'clock show on the Sundays. There are 8 performances, 100 tickets per show. And I do encourage people who like to see process to drop in on our rehearsals Mondays and Wednesday nights.
Can HYBLA Today go?
Absolutely.
We'll be there.
The only request we make is to be quiet while people are performing.
And how many performers are there?
There's 12 in the company, plus musicians.
Wow. I was going to say list all their names. Can you do it really fast?
I probably will miss 1 or 2 of them, but on the women's side, there's Wendy Fouts, Andra Kaufeld, Karen Vernon Weaver, Natasha Hurst, Elizabeth Emerson, and Mary Burbage. And on the male side, there's Jim Henry, Kurt Bates, Bradley Carlton, Brad Culver. Ooh. Come on, Joey. John Crawford and Roy Captain.
Ron Capitan, a HYBLAite.
Ron Capitan.
A neighbor, all right, on an accordion.
Yes,
amazing.
and other instruments.
And other instruments. And so I'm excited about this, right? Local, I mean, that's almost the population of Maynooth in one play. At a community center, sweet little community center down the road, and with local artists, amazing.
And great acoustics.
And happening in
April.
Nowhereville, right? Like, well, no, it's totally cool, this place, but it's like, I'm amazing. This place amazes me. And part of the reason it amazes me is because of people like you. So Joey, thank you for everything, the history lessons and the art, and you and your partner, same-sex partner, Barry Segas, all the best.
Thank you, Roy.
All right.
Thank you, Ken.
Roy Mitchell for HYBLA Today with Joey Shulman and cameraman Ken sending you lots of love. And if you want to share this, please, you can just share it. You've sit through it already. We don't have time to talk about anal sex. Next time. Bye for now.